Hey folks, welcome back. Sorry for the delay. We're going to be picking back up where we left off with this piece. We last time added some purple latexy gloves. My boyfriend has told me that it is absolutely essential that these gloves also include some stars around the edge. So I think I can make that happen. Well, so we're gonna be putting those in and doing some more work on this today. Good. And I made sure I am actually recording this time. Last time I did the live stream, but then I forgot to do the recording, as I also take a recording of these paintings as I'm making them, and then I speed them up when I'm finished and put it all together into a fast video. So, well, it won't show in that video, it won't show the beginnings of the gloves, but it will show the addition of the stars. Alright. So we've got these lovely things. Let me get a reference photo to start, because there are some of these that are really nice and have kitties, can you not? I'm trying to do a live stream here. Thank you. Kitties are wanting to participate by being as loud as they possibly can. Alright, so I'm gonna get myself a reference photo on my other screen real quick. Cleaning gloves. Let's look at images. Let's look at purple. Purple cleaning gloves. There we go. Oh, that's really cute. Alright, so I'm going to go off. A lot of them have these cuff things, so I'm going to go off of this as an example. I'll show you. See, there's the kind of thing I'm looking at. We won't add bows to it, but you can see they have this nice little extra fold here on a lot of them. So we're just going to do that, but with add some stars. Because as soon as I told Scott, my boyfriend Scott, that that he was wearing gloves, he was like, hey, they need to have stars on them. So who am I to say no? All right, we're gonna go behind. I'm just noticing there's a little bit of transparency there that we don't want to have. So I'm just gonna fill that in. This one kind of has, we're going to definitely need to adjust the edge. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that again. And we're going to do a neat little trick where we make a clipping mask. And what that does is it binds the top layer to say that the edges of this layer that's on top cannot go outside of the layer it's bound to. Like this is the only stuff we'll see. So for instance, I'll show you. I'm just going to make a few marks over here. Woo! And if we were to unbind the clipping mask now, so we're going to release the clipping mask, and you can see there's the stuff. But as soon as I put that clipping mask back on, you can't see those anymore. So we're going to undo that because I don't actually want those marks there. And we're going to do the clipping mask again. If I can find it, there it is. Ugh, I'm blind. Maybe I stared at the eclipse too long today. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see what shapes I have to work with that are built in. We got these nice little stars right here already made. And I'm just going to go ahead and do some adjustments to this brush. Oh, that's cute. So we want the spacing to be far. I'm not going to do scattering because I kind of want it to look like a pattern. I will do shape dynamics so we can have different sizes of stars. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the angle of the brush to match the angle of his gloves. And now we're just going to make these little white stars. Oh, it would help if I had, there we go. Now I can see. And it looks like they kind of move on their own. I'm going to turn this even a little bit more. Yeah, I actually like that better. Alright. And then we're going to make this not quite 100%. So now, what that does is we're putting these stars on, but they're not quite 100% transparency, so they pick up the shadows and highlights behind them. We're just kind of stamping this on there. Going over the edge. Yeah. But you know what I want to do, actually? I've changed my mind. This is why undo button is my friend. I'm actually not going to put those on there because I might want to erase to make things easier. So I'm just going to create a new layer. It's a clipping mask. So the key difference here, what I'm doing is it's not a copy of the same layer. It's literally just an empty layer, an empty space that I can start. So I can then adjust the transparency as I see fit afterwards without messing up the nice shading that I've done underneath there on the glove itself. And that'll be important shortly, as you'll see in just a moment. Because it means I can grab the stars, I can rotate them, I can erase this edge here to make it match better. Just gives me a lot more freedom. I don't understand. And now I can just do this and erase them. Alright, we're gonna try this one more time. Let me get the brush mode. Okay. Oh, I'm on. There we go. There we go. I don't know why it's not matching what I want it to match. Let's do nose spacing. Alright. Kind of liking that. I'm just going to move this guy over a bit. And see, this way, because I have it separated, that means I can, because it's its own layer, I'm not accidentally moving part of the glove along with it. It's just the pattern that's on top. The question is, do I want this filled in? And I think the answer is some of them should be filled in. I think all of them should be. So we're actually gonna do a bunch. Deselect all this. All right, make that 100%. Those down into one. And now I can just take this color and fill it in. Hopefully that'll... Whoa! What are you doing? Oh, it would help if I was in the correct layer. Sometimes when things don't work as expected, it just means you're in the wrong layer. Not a fan of how this is looking. Let me see if I can figure out something a little better. Let me see if I got other shapes I can work with. Other stars. Brushes. Aha, here we go. That's what we need. So we're just gonna start with these guys. All right. That's looking better. So now what we're gonna do is lower the opacity on that so it fits better. Like it looks like the patterning on the stars. And we're just gonna do the warp tool now to kind of fold some of these under a little bit. Look like they're moving with the plastic of the glove itself. There we go. And then we're just going to do a quick little erase there, since that guy is going to be folding under. Perfect. I like that. All right. So now we're gonna do the next one. Same basic thing. This really takes a lot of the work out. It's pretty nice because I can just do with stamps. There we go. I'm gonna create a clipping mask here. I'm gonna do the same thing with the warp tool. Gonna make these move with with the glove. Cool. And then let's see, what if I do screen? Some of these guys are a little too big, actually. There we go. Alright, I like that. Then we're just going to do a little touch here of eraser. Not quite that much. I'm going to make it not 100%. There we go. We're also going to make these guys a little bit darker than the ones above. Same thing for this one. I like that a lot, actually. It adds to the silliness. So now that we got these guys set, I'm going to do a little more cleaning up of the gloves themselves. So I'm going to do... I'm actually going to create... I'm going to use the pen tool to create a smooth line. And the pen tool has it's kind of a... I feel it's almost a misnomer to call it the pen tool, because that makes you think you're like doing, it's for doing, well, like pen and ink type stuff. It's really, I mean, I guess it's kind of for, it kind of can be used for that, but it's really not descriptive of what it does. So the pen tool is essentially a vector tool. You know, it's a tool for creating what are called vectors. And vectors, for anyone who doesn't know digital art terms, there's sort of two ways of creating an image on your screen. One is with pixels, and that's what we're all familiar with. It's all the little dots all really close together. So if I were to zoom in really, 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 really far, you see that it's a bunch of little dots of color, and you know, each of those is a solid color next to other solid colors, and when you zoom out and put them all together, it looks like a solid image with color variations. But in digital art, we have another option of ways to create our images, and that is to create what's called a vector. Now, a vector, you can zoom in as far as you want. It's not pixel based. It's just a line. You can see this cuts through all these different pixels, and it's not bound to them at all, not yet. And so what we can do is essentially create like a frame with these lines. It's almost like a wireframe that you can then manipulate in various ways to actually create the image. So you can either create, use it to create shapes that you can then manipulate and move around. You can use it like I'm doing, which you'll see shortly, to create bounding boxes. So what I'm going to be doing once I've gotten the lines the way I want them is I will use it to select everything, and then I can erase all that's outside and only keep what's inside. So I get this nice clean line. So there's a lot that you can do once you've created that vector image. But the vectors themselves don't have any pixels assigned to them yet. So you can just have this nice line drawing that you've created that you can make as large, it's nice, yeah, as large or as small as you want. And that's why when you see things like logos, when you see graphic design work, most of that is done in vectors to start. It's created as vector images, and that gives companies the freedom to enlarge or shrink it down as much as possible without losing any of the clarity. It won't get blurry the way, you know, when you enlarge, when you have a picture that you zoom in or you print it way too big, you'll find that it doesn't have the resolution anymore and it looks blurry or pixelated, as the case may be. With vector art, you don't have that problem because you just recreate the image in whatever size you want to print it. So it took me a while to learn this and figure it out. I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to find out, because it's called the pen tool. I just don't get why they call it. Maybe I could see calling it like the pin tool because you're placing points. You're putting down points and then you can manipulate the lines around. So I'm using these handles. I can pull this line however I want it to go. But it's not a pen. It's just silly to call it as such. Alright. So what I'm trying to do here is I want to make the lines match up pretty close to get the final version. And you'll see I'm gonna create essentially I'm gonna fill in anything that doesn't reach this line, and I'm going to delete anything that goes past that line. And that's going to give me that nice crisp edge like what I have over here. You can see I've done that here. And eventually we're going to go back and do a little bit of blurring around the edges, because in real life you don't have edges that are that crisp. But it's nice to have it. I want to control how crisp it is. I want to control to make sure everything is the same level of blurriness, because otherwise, if it's not the same level of blurriness, it just looks very, very odd. And part of why it's so important to control that, you know, so if his arm were less, if the gloves were more blurry than the arm, that would be very weird and disconcerting to the eye. And so blurriness and sharpness have a few very important functions. The the first one, most obvious one, is to help establish depth. So, and I'm not talking depth on a particular object necessarily, it's usually more depth in the piece itself. So, stuff that's in the foreground, or I guess in point of focus, in the most important range is going to be what's the clearest. And then in the background, you can see it gets blurrier because it's farther away. And if it's super close, I don't have anything like super in the foreground, but that's outside the frame of focus, then that should be blurry as well. And that kind of mimics our eyes and how our eyes function, because we don't see everything perfectly clearly. We see things that we're focusing on clearly, and then the rest is in our periphery and gets progressively blurrier. And perhaps even more accurate is it mimics a camera. With cameras, you can choose, how much is in focus. So if you're doing a landscape, you might want everything to be in focus. You're looking at this large scene. If you're doing a portrait, on the other hand, then you want the figure that you're drawing or that you're taking a photo of to be the thing that's in focus, and the background should be kind of blurry. And so this is sort of a little in between. It's not exactly a portrait, but it's not a landscape. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that everything that's here in the right range is in focus, and everything that's farther back is not. And so that not only helps create depth and establish where everything is spatially within the piece, but it also helps draw the eye to where it's supposed to be looking. Again, it mimics not just a photo, but it also mimics peripheral vision versus what's the word? Central vision? I don't know what it's called. That sounds like a TV station. Central vision. Maybe it is. But by having what you want to be the focal point literally be in focus, you create a natural pull for the eye. So the viewers know exactly where to look, where you want them looking, and they will look there naturally without needing, kind of trying to look elsewhere. And as I've mentioned in past live streams, there's a lot of ways that we do that we can pull the eye where we want it to go. And a lot of things we need to watch out for, so we're not accidentally pulling the eye away from where we want people to be looking. You want people to be able to look and enjoy all the details around the edges of the piece, but you don't want them to feel like constantly pulled back to, the soap bubbles over here, when what's important is what's going on over here. Alright, so I've got my pen tool, I've established all the lines, and I've done the little barbell thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the work path, and then I'm just going to create a new layer using that selection. Copy the previous one, and when I delete this, you'll see now we've got the background, and actually you kind of can see his arms behind there now, so I'll have to do something about that. Let's see. So I'm gonna make have I already made a copy of the arms? I'm gonna make another copy of these arms just to be safe. And then I'm just gonna delete around here. Let's make that 100%. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm kind of thinking I want him to have a sponge in his hand instead of the rag, but I haven't quite decided yet. I still have the sponge over here, or the rag right here. So I can always go back to that if I so choose, but I'm kind of thinking a big orange or yellow sponge might be fun. Let me see. Hang on. I need I think I need to phone a friend for this one. Hey, okay. So, quick question. You are currently on my live stream. The wizard, should he be using the rag that I had painted, or should he have one of those like big round yellow sponges? Ah, you're useless. You're useless to me. I added the stars for you. I added the stars. All right. So you have zero opinions on this. I'm gonna go call someone who has artistic sense abilities then, because you're a useless human being. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Calling mom now. Phone family, I guess. Is it? Hey, Mummykins! I'm currently live streaming. You are on my live stream right now. I don't know how well it's gonna come through. I'm doing the phone a friend thing. I need an idea. You've seen the wizard and dragon painting as it is so far. Now, my question is, should he be holding that rag that I painted originally, or should he be using like a big yellow round cleaning sponge? All right. And I can send you I'll send you an updated version actually, because he's got gloves now. I don't think he had gloves when I sent it to you, so I'm gonna save this as a JPEG. Oh yeah, you can just go on my live stream. That works. Yeah. I will do that later. You are live right now though, so I will I'll let you know. But I can certainly do that later this afternoon. Yes, all the thousands of people that watch my live stream. I have no idea if it even will come through because you're literally on speakerphone next to the microphone going into the headset. So this may not come through at all. So yeah, are you on my live stream? Can you see?
No, I'm just playing on my computer right now.
Alright. So I added stars to the gloves like Scott wanted me to, because he was very adamant that they needed to have stars, and I actually agree. I think it makes it look even cuter. But
Okay, my computer's just a little slow.
that's alright.
Okay, so where do I go for your live stream? Jennifer Garstadil. It's my Dragon Age My Homework?
Yeah, you could just go to my dragonatemyhomework.com and under blog and then live stream. If you hover over blog, it'll drop down and there'll be digital painting live stream.
Did you hear chit chat?
I did.
Oh, wait a second. My dragonatemyhomework.com/blog?
No. Just go to my dragonatemyhomework.com, hover over blog, and then you'll see digital painting live stream.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Got it.
So you can see I've added the gloves.
Yeah, let's see. I want to make this big so I can actually see it. It's actually like time delay. That's interesting.
Yep. You should probably mute it so it doesn't get confusing.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I like the stars on the glove. And did it always have a dragon as the spigot?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
So, sponge or rag, what would he be using to clean this thing?
Jenny, one of my favorite things is the claw on the cup. That
Oh.
Remember?
What?
We have cups like that.
Oh, right, we do. That's probably where I, like, got the image from originally.
Yeah. Let's see. For some reason, I can't seem to get to the top of the painting.
Oh, you're not going to be able to get to the top of the painting because it's... I can zoom out for you if you want. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. So it's where you are right now. Okay, I thought it was...
No, it's my live stream, so you're watching a video of what's on my screen. So you have no control over how zoomed in it is.
I love that he's got his beard straight up. I do really like the stars on his gloves. That's really cute.
Yeah, that really did add a nice touch to it, so...
Something is on him. And I guess he's gripping the side with one.
Yeah, the other normally is... See, I put the rag back.
Oh.
See, normally it has a rag. But...
Oh, that's
So, yeah, so what I need to know is, do I keep the rag, or do I add a yellow sponge?
Can I see anything?
I haven't painted a yellow sponge yet. I can just paint it and see which one we like better, but that would take, well, to be honest, I thought this would be more efficient to call people and get other people's opinions, but I think it might have been more efficient to just paint it and see.
Well, first put the rag back. And let's see what that looks
Yeah,
like.
the rag is back.
I guess I need to refresh.
No, it's probably just the time delay. Just keep watching. It'll be there.
Okay. So you just moved it down a little bit so I can see the top of the dragon.
Yeah. Do you want me to zoom in again?
No, that's okay. I'm just coming back and she probably did that a minute or so ago.
Yeah. What's, so,
There's still no rag.
there's still no rag for you? On my computer it shows a rag on my, video. Did you pause it? Are you sure you didn't pause it?
No, because it's doing stuff. I mean, you're moving around and everything.
So weird. Huh. Bizarre.
My computer's been painfully slow for some reason.
Yeah, it's probably your internet that's having a problem here.
Still not there.
Wow.
Let me do something. Let me escape here. And let me. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Alright, cool. Alright, so now you can see the rag. So should it be a rag or should it be a sponge?
So a sponge would be a little different color, like yellow.
It would be like a more, yeah, a yellow. It would be fair. It would be muted like the gloves. You know, it wouldn't be like the brightest thing in the room, but it would be yellow. It would probably have some purple on the bottom where it's dipped, and it would probably be, you know, it would be held slightly differently in his hand. But yeah, what do you think?
The only thing about a sponge is I think a sponge would be anachronistic. I mean, if you think of a wizard as being someone in King Arthur's time, they would not have a sponge.
You don't? You think that they would have latex gloves?
Oh, good point.
I'm not worried about anachronisms here.
You know, I don't know that it makes a difference. The
Alright, I'll play with it. I'll go ahead and just paint it and see how I like it.
Change it, but not do all the details.
Yeah, no. I'll do a rough of it and see if I like it. Alright. Thank you, Mom. You're very helpful.
Bye-bye.
Very helpful and very efficient at giving advice. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye. Alright. So we're gonna go ahead. Oops, sorry, kitty. So we've got the gloves. Let me finish filling in. Oh, hi, kitty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so kitty just tried to open Bamboo Dock. Thank you. I now have a cat on my shoulder. This is very, very helpful. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the sky. I'm going to select him again, and then I'm just going to grab this purple around the edge. We're just going to kind of hit behind and fill in the extras. Oh, I need to reset my brushes. So I have my originals, and there we go. So shortly I'm gonna see about painting something other than a rag. Okay. Hi, kitty. Can I have my hands back, please? Can I have my hands back so I can actually paint? No? Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. Alright. So we're just gonna kinda grab this. I'm gonna look up pictures of a nice big sponge. Whoa! Okay, bye, kitty. Cleaning sponge. Not undersea sponge. All right. You know, I could have him be squeezing the sponge too. All right. So we're just gonna kind of. We're gonna grab. Should be a little more orange. We're gonna just kind of. Oops. Shoot. That is what undo is for. All right. Gotta do this in a new layer. All right. Darken that, lower the opacity, and then we're gonna kind of do the squeeze. Got that. And then we got all the sort of the spots going on. texture on there. And then it should definitely have some of this color at the bottom. Then we're going to take the burn tool and just kind of go through there. Should be a little brighter here. Let's get some shadow burn. Alright, we're going to take this and we're just going to do normal. Do a nice dark brown there. Come on. Alright, I'm gonna do the mixer brush now, kinda. Bring it all together. I think I like the sponge. I think I like that better than the rag. All right. Yeah, I like the sponge. I think I might actually move this guy back a little bit. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There. the sponge, actually. I really like that a lot. Hi, kitty. He's so helpful. If everything suddenly cuts out, you'll know it's his fault. Whenever you hear "Hi, kitty," it's generally a precursor to him stepping on something and turning off my computer, or he has a knack for messing everything up. I really marvel at it. It is a skill that is quite unique to him. Izzy will lie in certain places that she'll like occasionally make things flicker on the screen a little bit, stuff like that, but she doesn't actually shut things down to the point that I have to, do a hard reset or anything. Whereas Rorschach, really, he has a talent. He just knows where the buttons are. Number of times I've had to do a hard reset, often from mid-game or mid-painting. I think I'm gonna move the sponge back a little bit too. Yes, there. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna have to make some minor adjustments to the edge of his hand. So I'm just gonna use the smudge tool to kind of move the back layer out a little more. There we are. Gonna make it look like it's resting on there. Perfect. Yeah, I'm really liking that. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit more work the edge of this sponge here. We're gonna do some of the dodge tool to up midtones. Give a little more shape there. You can really see where his fingers are kind of digging into it. Down the back part here. So I'm kind of giving some shape to the sponge now. It's got that kind of nice roundness. Being squeezed a little bit. Oh, and then I was gonna make this a little more. shadow there. It's in front here. There we go. Kind of want to capture the way it bunches up as he's squeezing it. Start adding a little more detail here. Got these holes that make the sponge the sponge. Sort of a variety of different shapes to them. There we go. Kind of going around and lightening up the areas around the holes. And the holes themselves are not perfectly dark, I'm noticing. They have depth to them. And just as I did with the gloves in the last live stream, you know, each of these shadows, there's a purpose to them. The lights and the darks define shapes. So you have to think, you know, you can't just have a dot for the sake of having a dot. You don't just want like a dark blob for the sake of that. It doesn't look right. It looks flat. So what we need to do is go back in and say, okay, there is a shape here that is created by an edge, by a divot essentially in the material. So the light is hitting around this more than it is hitting inside of it, because it's essentially being blocked by the edges of the sponge. But there is some light getting in, and there's going to be, since our light source is coming from over here, there's going to be less light able to get through right here, and a little bit more light able to get through in this part of the divot. And that is how we create the actual shape that's defined. We think through every spot that the light is hitting and see where is that shadow going to fall, rather than just saying, oh, there's going to be a dark spot here and a light spot here. defining those edges. This is probably going to be quite a bit darker because it's wet. That's another thing that can make things darker, is if they're wet versus dry. I mean, the whole sponge is wet, but this part is caked with magical chemicals of some sort. Alright, so we kind of have a little bit more of that definition in each of the holes. And now that we've got that, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the pictures of sponges, and it's a little too brown, so I want to get some orange color actually, like a reddish orange. And we're just gonna kind of, if I can, are you gonna let me? Okay. Thank you. We're gonna do color. And we're just gonna kind of go over that. That's a little too bright. Just give it a little more of a blush. Alrighty. It's almost too much, but we'll adjust. And it's a balancing act because you don't want the darks to be too dark if they're not that deep of all. The darker the darks, the deeper the hole looks. So we don't want to make these holes like ridiculously huge. It's a sponge, you know? It's not a canyon. We just have to kind of figure out and eyeball it and figure out about how deep we want this to actually go. I'm going to bring in the mixer brush now for some of these areas over here. We're just going to kind of smooth that all together. There we go. Kind of bring a little more light and shape up here, because what I'm envisioning is happening to the sponge is his fingers are digging into the sponge. So that means where they're putting pressure, there's going to be a deeper divot, and then the area around it's going to kind of bunch up a little bit. Kind of form that. There. Alright, now I'm going to add another layer, and we're going to add some water and some suds dripping down from this. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to make it Shape Dynamics. I think it's kind of scrubbing across here. Just kinda see where it's coming across here, and then it's kind of be dripping down. We have kind of around here. probably been scrubbing back and forth a little, so we'll add some more over here as well. There we go. I like it. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. We've gotten quite a bit further, actually. I like this detail. I really like the little anachronisms, actually, of the fact that he's using a cleaning sponge and has latex gloves with stars on them as a wizard. I enjoy things of that nature. So that is where I'll leave it for today. Thank you for joining me, and my epic journey to decide whether or not to include a sponge or a rag in my painting. I think I definitely enjoy the sponge more. I think it's clearer, cleaner, if you will. Because, oh dear. All right, I'm gonna go have some more coffee now. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time.